morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ovia Salvakumar from Edmond, Oklahoma. Dr. Wong, faculty, parents, and guests, I welcome you to the commencement of the Oklahoma School of Science and Mathematics, class of 2022. It is my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Dan Little of Medill. Mr. Little received his undergraduate degree with honors from Harvard University and his Juris Doctorate degree from the University of Oklahoma Law School. His wife, Prudence, graduated first in their law class, and Mr. Little served as the editor-in-chief of the Oklahoma Law Association. He was also selected Outstanding Senior by the Oklahoma Bar Association. Still practicing law, the Little Law Firm has been ranked in the top 5% of all law firms in the nation. Mr. Little understands quality education and the impact that it can have on an individual. Going back to the lifelong influence of his Greek and English teacher at Thomas Jefferson High School in St. Louis, Missouri, Mr. Little is an avid reader. He reads Homeric and Attic Greek and other great works every day, including Shakespeare, Homer, Plato, the New Testament in Greek, and the Bible many times, as well as many other classics and recent works. From its founding, Mr. Little believed that Mr. Little believes that the ancient Greek philosophy that body, mind, and soul are closely related to each other. In addition to his daily reading for the mind and the daily prayer and meditation for his soul, Mr. Little exercises every day, missing only 5 days in the last 35 years. He has completed 219 marathons or ultramarathons and 3 Ironman triathlons of swimming 2.4 miles, biking 112 miles, and running 26.2 miles. In 2019, at the age of 76, Mr. Little completed the World Marathon Challenge of running 7 full marathons on 7 continents in 7 days, breaking the record as the oldest finisher by 9 years. Mr. Little has signed up again for the 2022 World Marathon Challenge beginning October 25th in Antarctica. From its founding, Mr. Little believed OSSM could and should be the best academic high school in the nation, public or private. For the past 36 years, he has served as our first and only chairman of the Board of Trustees and has helped us achieve the highest levels of academic excellence in Oklahoma and the nation. Please join me in thanking Mr. Little for his devotion and commitment to OSSM. Mr. Little.
Thank you. Now that you know that I'm truly certifiable. Dr. Wong, esteemed faculty, members of the class of 2022, parents, friends, commencements are always special times. But I think this commencement, this class, is very special. For one reason, we are so glad that we are here and that we made it. To think what you all have experienced during the last 2 years, I think your class, more than any other class, has taken the challenges of COVID. Unlike the class of 2021, who had 1 year before we had to go into remote learning, your first year was in remote learning. Faculty, students, staff, Dr. Wong, thank you so much. And parents and friends, thank you so much for making the last 2 years the success that they have been. Now, it's another special time because we're marking the end of another era. Dr. Wong is finishing his 10 years as president. And Dr. Wong, I will have much more to say next Friday, but we appreciate and thank you so much for what you have done. When you began, we had severe financial problems. Never have we been on more secure financial grounds. Never has any individual equal to Dr. Manning invested heart and soul in our school. Dr. Wong, if you would stand and let us just honor and appreciate your 10 years. Members of the class of 2022, I have just a few parting words. And you have built, during these last 2 years, foundation stones. But they are truly only the beginning of foundation stones. For the rest of your life, you will build on the foundation stones that you have built. Perhaps most importantly, you will build on the friendships that you have made under very intense periods of time and challenges. So, as you go the next 4 years, and they are truly unique years, in college, you have 4 years where basically you are the master of your destiny. So let me leave you with 3 things to remember. During the next 4 years and the rest of your life, good judgment, good judgment, good judgment. Self-discipline, self-discipline, and self-discipline, and no fear of failure. And as Will Rogers said, never forget where you are from. And you are from the 2022 Oklahoma School of Science and Mathematics graduating class. Godspeed and good luck.
All right, I'm here to give special recognitions and acknowledgments. And first we want to acknowledge, of course, our chairman, Dan Little, who has been our founding chairman since the school was established by legislation in 1983. So thank you, Chairman. And we also have Trustee Ron Mashore, who has served as a trustee for many years. Ron? Very good. And I have a very special group of people to recognize. I will call forth the president of the Parents Association, Mr. Rohit Agrawal, to receive a special plaque from the school. And we would like to also recognize, as Mr. Agrawal comes up to receive the plaque, Vice President Ms. Lynn Wynn, Treasurer Ms. Katarina White, and Secretary Selva Kumar Isaran. If you can please us all stand, and I will come down to present the special plaque to Mr. Agrawal. I would say that the Parents Association has worked very, very hard to enrich the lives of the young people this year, and it's unbelievable all the things they've done. It culminated in a lovely senior dinner last night, probably the most elegant that I've been to since my tenure began 10 years ago. So here we go. I'm gonna fold this down here so that it doesn't, my remarks don't blow away here. And those parents of the junior class, current junior class, who will be rising seniors who were the junior delegates, please stand and be recognized. The junior delegates for the class. And then we have the incoming president of the Parents Association next year, Dr. Mark Wong. Dr. Wong, yes, very good. I won't take the time to go through the innumerable awards and honors that our students have received throughout the year, because that would keep the audience members too long. We had a special awards assembly rivaling in length the Academy Awards. I think it was 2.5 hours that we went through the many, many, many awards that the students have received. But I will take time to mention a few of the awards that honor faculty that have passed away. So this is both to honor the student and the faculty member. So we'll begin with the Charles Roberts Chemistry Award honoring the late Dr. Charles Roberts. It was presented by Dr. Fazlur Rahman to student Shabab Kabir. So could Dr. Rahman and Shabab please stand and be recognized? Very good. We have the John Campbell Computer Science Award honoring the late Professor John Campbell. And that was presented by Dr. Manisha Chakraborty at our awards assembly. If they could both stand and be recognized. Oh, wait a moment. I didn't announce who. The awards were given to Genevieve Bartko and David Zhang, so I forgot to mention the students, sorry. We have the Bill Turpin Memorial Award honoring the late Professor Turpin. It was awarded to Rohit Nair by Dr. Kelly Chavez at our awards assembly. If both could stand. And finally, the named faculty award, the Arnie Troelstra Physics Prize to Ty Garrison, presented by Dr. Kirk Bachman. And I should mention for the record that Dr. Troelstra is very much alive. So he was the very first faculty member hired, and he personally drove here from North Carolina to deliver a check to me for $40,000 to help to supplement the endowment for that award. So we congratulate all the students who have won the various awards that I will not take. In fact, it's a 10-page sheaf of papers of awards printed in small print, single space. So if I was reading it, we'd still be here this afternoon. So last thing to mention is, as a class, our students have been awarded scholarships totaling $4,738,775. It's a small class, so it's smaller than the total awards that have been won by previous classes, but the average is still a very impressive $86,159 per graduate. So let's congratulate our class. And that concludes my announcements and special recognitions.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anusha Fathepre from Stillwater, Oklahoma, and I have the distinguished honor of speaking before you today. I would like to thank the faculty, administration, residential hall staff, and families of the class of 2022 for their endless support and love. And I personally would like to thank my fellow classmates for the endless support and love they have offered me as their peer, friend, and in a way, family. Our 2 years have not been the easiest. From pandemics, virtual schooling, ice storms, and fire alarms at 2 a.m., we have lived through some of the most unique years of OSSM's history. My own journey with OSSM began long before I entered the gazebo gates of campus. It began before I received my admittance letter, and it even began before September 1st, 2019, when OSSM released its application for the class of 2022. It began here, 4 years ago. My sister graduated as part of OSSM's class of 2018. I recall sitting amongst the audience, staring up in wonder at the graduation speakers, wishing with all my heart that one day I would be standing on that stage giving a speech. Well, dreams do come true. Dreams. They're a funny thing, aren't they? We spend so much time as students planning, preparing, and dreaming of our future. Inherently, as OSSM students, we are a unique group of individuals with the propensity and immense drive to chase those dreams. Now, dreams can have two very different outcomes, of which I'm sure we, as OSSM students, are quite familiar with: success and failure. It is easy among disappointing grade reports and dismal test scores to forget how each and every one of us are exceptional in our own way. It is not our grades that define us as OSSM students, but our ability to experience failure and continue on. And in those moments when we fall down, we have the strength of others to hold us up. Trust me, there is truly no greater group of individuals who have seen me cry quite so much. From the moment I stepped onto OSSM's campus, I was welcomed by this community, wrapped in the warm embrace of my fellow classmates. As we took ever-advancing steps to our future, we held tight to one another, together, always together. But now, the time has come where we must let go. So I would like to take a moment to personally address my fellow classmates. Hey guys! This is an incredibly emotional and scary day for us all. In the words of the great Dr. Taylor Swift, NYU class of 2022, congrats Taylor. We're happy, free, confused, and lonely at the same time. We stand upon the precipice, the defining line of adulthood. It is the elusive real world out there, and we must now go forth into it. And perhaps most terrifying of it all, we have to do it without one another. But I know from the bottom of my heart that you will all continue to be exceptional. There's a whole world out there just waiting to see what all of you can do. Show them, be bold, be unapologetic, chase your dreams, take chances, never fear to fail, as it is failure that gives you the chance to grow, and never fear to succeed because you so strongly deserve it. I know from the bottom of my heart that you will all change the world. Now, the hardest part is to just let go. So here we are. Soon enough, we will walk across this stage, and our time at OSSM will come to a close. But the mark we made upon this school will remain forever. Years will pass, and we will go our separate ways on our own journeys, but the memories we made here will tie us together forever. I look forward to seeing all of your future accomplishments, big and small. This is not a goodbye, but rather a see you later. I love each and every one of you so deeply. Thank you for taking me in and accepting me as one of your own. I know that wherever we end up in life, our names belong on the brick walls in the MAC among the class of 2022. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm just going to jump in here because I made a very significant omission in the recognitions part. I would like to recognize Mr. Jonathan Triplett, who is our Residence Hall director. He plays a huge part in the lives of the kids because 8 hours is spent in academics, but 16 hours is spent in the Residence Hall. So normally he would be up here with us, but he's taking care of a lot of details. So Jonathan, if you could stand up, he's easy to spot because he's taller than everyone else. So very good. Thank you, thank you.
So, as Anusha said, we're used to some fire alarms. Hi, everyone. My name's Jordan Keese, and I'm from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I want to start by wishing a very happy birthday to two very important people in my life. First, my mom, Shelly, who I couldn't be here without. Quick shout out to all the other parents, moms, dads, loved ones in the audience. Your impact is beyond words, so we all thank you, whether we say it or not. The other person is Kareem, one of the many OSSM students who made 2 years of sleepless nights, unbearable stress, and really, really bad dance music the time of my life. Coming to OSSM in January of 2021, I had zero idea of what I was walking into. Unlike many of the students here, I had never shadowed. I never went to any of the camps. I had never even stepped foot on campus. But now I was expected to live there? Keep in mind, at this point in time, I had spent 6 months in my room, only being with my family. But despite the imminent threat of academically rigorous high school education, I walked on campus ready to meet people besides my family for the first time in a really, really long time. What I didn't know at the time was that during the pandemic, I had developed a mean case of imposter syndrome. I mean, I still have it. When I got the email that said I was gonna be up here talking to you today, I thought for sure someone had made a mistake. There is no way they were gonna let me up here with a podium and a mic to say whatever I wanted. Made no sense. But despite that, I also developed an immunity to fire alarms. I mean, it could go off at 2 a.m. and I would just go on sleeping. And I know that might sound like an exaggeration, but there's people on this stage who legitimately did that. I also have kind of like a spidey sense for the song Dancing Queen. It's a really long story that we're not going to get into. I mean, the president is right there, and I still have to graduate, so. I've also developed a caffeine addiction, a napping hobby, and a deep fear of anything to do with the French. Thank you, West Civ, for that. But I've also developed a deep connection with my floor. I have appreciation for a very good, tasteful your mom joke. And most importantly, I have developed a community of like-minded individuals who have pushed me beyond any limit I held for myself. A community of kind, passionate, and inspiring students who have kept me both on my toes and standing on 2 feet for the last couple of years. A community of people I can confidently say I would not be the same without. I have learned so much from you all, and I stand here today a different person because of you. You've helped me to realize it's normal to ask for help. You've showed me that boundaries are very important, and you've also taught me that a whole bell pepper is a perfectly acceptable meal. What I'm trying to get at is that each one of us has changed so much because of this school. I've shared some of my developments, both the good and the bad, but I'm sure all of y'all's is very different from mine. All I know is that as we go on to the future and we graduate and we go to college and we forget about those white cinder block walls that we called home for 2 years, we will carry so much of this school with us. A little too much at times, but even if you don't believe me right now, 2, 5, maybe even 10 years down the line, you're gonna realize that you couldn't be who you are at OSSM or without OSSM. And it was hard, trust me. It was hard, but you did it. I did it, we did it. We did the hours, we did the time, and now we're graduating. So, in the words of the great Sarah Varghese from Neuroscience, my friend, only in the dark can you see the stars. Thank you, guys.
Good morning, everyone. My name is David Reynaldo Fuentes, and I'm from Piedmont, Oklahoma. It is my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, Dr. Brian Easton. Dr. Easton studies quantum computation at Northrop Grumman Corporation in Aurora, Colorado, where he leads a small team of theoretical physicists. Their work focuses on fault-tolerant quantum error correction, magic state distillation, and related topics. This theoretical work is part of Northrop Grumman's larger effort in superconducting quantum devices and superconducting electronics. Dr. Easton is best known in academia for the Easton-Nail theorem, which states that a non-trivial quantum code cannot have a universal, transversal, unitary gate set. Originally from Collinsville, Oklahoma, Dr. Easton graduated from the Oklahoma School of Science and Mathematics in 1997. He earned his bachelor's degree in physics from the California Institute of Technology and went on to get his doctorate in physics from the University of New Mexico. He worked as a postdoctoral fellow at the National Institute of Standards and Technology in Boulder before joining Northrop Grumman in 2010. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Easton.
Thank you, Ray. Good morning, everyone. It's a great honor to be here today. The Oklahoma School of Science and Mathematics is a remarkable institution. There are not many high schools that offer multivariate calculus, thermodynamics, genetics, and Japanese. There are few places that bring together so many talented young people and pack them so full of knowledge. The graduates of OSSM are an impressive bunch. They have gone on to design new medical treatments, satellites, refineries, and nuclear reactors. They preside in court, code software, minister to the poor, and at all levels and in diverse subjects, they teach the next generation. For many of these graduates, OSSM set them on their path. So it's a great honor to be here because OSSM is a special place. But most of all, it's a great honor because OSSM had such a big impact on my life. For me, coming to OSSM was thrilling. A whole world opened up before me. Everyone was so interesting and so full of ideas. As has often happened in my life, I came to a place to learn something, to do something. And I found that one of the best parts was getting to know the other people who shared those goals. When they sent us home that first weekend, I teared up. I felt ridiculous, but I couldn't help it. I felt that I had finally found where I belonged. That's not to say that it was easy to be a student at OSSM, because it wasn't. The hours were long, the classes were hard. After lights out, my roommate and I would often study by flashlight, hiding in the closet or under blankets to avoid getting caught. Eventually, we covered our windows in aluminum foil. I was so exhausted one night that I started having audio-visual hallucinations. I would look at math, and I would hear sounds. But the next morning, I had to be up like everyone else. I had to sit on those excruciatingly hard bus seats as they bussed us to campus. That was back when we still had to live in Norman. And I had to take that exam that I had been studying for. Compared to other students, I was behind mathematically. So I took 2 math classes concurrently my first semester. In the spring, I took physics, and it was a revelation. I loved it. Within a few short months, I would decide to make it my career. Not every class I took or event I attended had such a direct and obvious impact. I studied Japanese and Marcus Aurelius and demonstrated a real knack for ruining organic chemistry experiments. I'm sorry, Dr. Roman. But those experiences too would stick with me and enrich my life. I'm a PhD physicist now. I've had a lot of education. But there are still topics for which I think back to those 2 short but very full years. OSSM today is not the same place that it was 25 years ago, but I trust that it still has wonderful teachers, dedicated staff, and exceptional students. I hope that in the fullness of time, those students will look back on the experience as I do, as a life-changing one that they were lucky to have had. For now, though, adventures await. As a commencement speaker, I'm supposed to give out sage advice on how to live your life. But I've only one life worth of experience, and that's not even done. For more, you have to read books, and you can read them as well as I can. Still, if you'll bear with me for a few minutes, I'd like to present to you from the life I know best one example of the kind of path an OSSM alumni can find themselves on after graduation. Hopefully something in there will be instructive or at least interesting. I attended Caltech for college. To the great credit of the teachers at OSSM, I found the level of difficulty and rigor not so different from what I had experienced. Still, it was exhausting, and I had a progressively worsening lifelong medical condition. My immune system has been trying to kill me since I was 14. Obviously, it hasn't succeeded yet. By the end of junior year, I was tired and disenchanted. I'd left for college dreaming of understanding how the whole universe worked. Humility was never my strong suit. I was soon to leave college understanding that I would never master all of physics. I'd had enough of school and started applying for jobs with the intention of going to work after graduation. Nevertheless, Senior year, I took a class on quantum computation and discovered that I still had the ability to be intrigued by the universe. I still wanted to understand. There were only a handful of universities where quantum computing research was done at the time, mostly big-name ones. I applied to nearly all of them, but I had the goal to write in my application that I was tired and wanted the chance to rest and think. As you can no doubt imagine, this is not what big-name universities are looking for. I was rejected from every one. It looked for a time like I would not be going to graduate school after all. But ultimately, the University of New Mexico accepted me after the normal application deadline. New Mexico, as it turns out, is a very laid-back state, and the university there proved to be just the sort of place where a person could rest and think. My graduate advisors were wonderful and very patient. The problem, which became clear after a few years, was that when I was given time to think, I didn't think of anything good. Another problem was that I was getting progressively sicker. I eventually wound up in the hospital for over a month. But even once I got out and was feeling better, I still struggled to make an impact on my chosen field. I despaired. In my experience, graduate school isn't good for anybody's self-esteem. But somewhere in the midst of my intellectual thrashing about, two topics that I had worked on came together in my mind, and an answer to a key question in quantum information theory dawned on me. I took that insight with me to my postdoc, where I had developed it under the tutelage of my advisor into a rigorous proof, which is how I, who have always struggled with the highest levels of mathematics, became best known for a very mathematical impossibility proof. That work was atypical of my research, however. I would characterize most of what I do as complex, highly constrained puzzle solving, where many of the rules are dictated by quantum mechanics, and my preferred game board is quantum circuit notation. There are plenty of jobs in quantum computing these days, but back when I was finishing up my postdoc, few places were hiring permanent staff. I ultimately joined Northrop Grumman, which had an experimental group working on superconducting qubits. It was a very capable team, but I was the only one with experience from the computing side of quantum computing. It took several years of pretty solitary effort to put together a team of my own and to build up that aspect of our work. But as a result, I was able to set the direction and priorities of that work. That's how I ultimately wound up where I am today, managing a team of people doing quantum computing research. I don't feel accomplished so much as I feel that I found my place. I'm not done, and will never be done, but I press on, and by doing so, I like to think that I help to move the world forward. If I had to distill my career path into a single lesson, I guess it would be keep at it. The world is full of brilliant people, so you won't always be the best. But the world is also full of problems, so everybody can contribute. Natural talent is a fine thing and very important. But it's amazing how much of success comes down to stubbornly and diligently working at something for years. Seniors, you're here today both because you're extraordinarily gifted and because you're extraordinarily hardworking. As such, you have the power to shape the future to a degree that few people in history ever have. Few things besides science and technology have changed the world as much as the internal combustion engine, antibiotics, synthetic fertilizers, or the transistor. Science and technology engender such radical transformations all the time. But with great power comes great responsibility. We hope for and expect great things from you. Let those expectations lift you up, not weigh you down. Whatever you do, if you do it with energy and care and honesty, you will be an asset to the world. Congratulations, OSSM class of 2022.
Hello, my name is Zachary Wagner, and I am from Walters, Oklahoma. It is my honor to introduce a special person at OSSM, Dr. Brent Richards. Dr. Brent Richards is the Vice President of Academics, as well as a biology professor. Dr. Brent Richards is an OSSM alumni and graduated from OSSM in 1996. He graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry from the University of Oklahoma in 2000, and received his PhD in neuroscience from Georgetown University in 2006. Dr. Richards was an intramural research fellow at the National Institute of Mental Health in Bethesda, Maryland, before joining the OSSM faculty in 2008 as a professor of biology and a director of the mentorship program. In 2020, he became the vice president for academic services. We welcome Dr. Brent Richards to announce the graduates of the class of 2022.
Thank you, Zach, for your kind introduction. And thank you, speakers, for your inspiring remarks. The academic program at the Oklahoma School of Science and Mathematics is one of the most demanding in the nation. OSSM courses are as challenging and rigorous as those at the university level, and over 4 semesters, our students complete a credit load that would require at least 3 years in a typical school. Our graduation requirements include 4 courses in mathematics, including at least 2 semesters of calculus, 3 courses in physics, including 2 calculus-based courses, 2 courses each in biology and chemistry, 1 course in computer science, 2 elective courses from a math or science subject, 4 courses each in literature and history, 4 semesters of a foreign language, 4 semesters of physical education, and 2 courses in fine arts. Mr. Little and members of the Board of Trustees, upon the recommendation of our faculty, Dr. Wong and I certify that the students assembled before you have met and in some cases exceeded our graduation requirements. They are entitled to be granted their diplomas at this time. Leslie Lynn Schultz, daughter of Amy Schultz and James Schultz. Ovia Selvakumar, daughter of Selvakumar Ishwaran and Sharmali Thiagarajan. Anusha Fatherpure, daughter of Babu Fatherpure and Shakuntala Fatherpure. Adriana Nicole Blackburn, daughter of Dee Blackburn and Maria Blackburn. Jordan Keast, daughter of Megan Keast and Shelley Keast. Genevieve Grace Bartko, child of Roxanne Rodebush. David Reynaldo Fuentes, son of David Fuentes and Reymasil Fuentes. Ashley Ann Matthew, daughter of Dean and Bindu Matthew. Johanna Justice, daughter of Justice Baby and Nisha Justice. Dalen Otsoy Orozco, daughter of Nicholas and Elsa Otsoy. Caitlin Elizabeth Murphy, daughter of Pat and Jacqueline Murphy. Zachary Caleb Wagner, son of Kelsey and Letitia Wagner. Rohan Agarwal, son of Rohit Agarwal and Indu Agarwal. Christine Mary Thomas, daughter of Thomas Peter and Bindu Thomas. Sarah Varghese, daughter of Varghese Alexander and Minnie Varghese. Helen Lee Fong, daughter of Mike Fong and Noon Ta. Dawn Preeti Thejus, daughter of Thejus and Preeti Thomas. Sehi Sarah Kim, daughter of Yongsoo Kim and Si Hyun No. Genevieve Decor, daughter of Kim Decor. Simran Shah, daughter of Kanunj and Vinay Shah. Katie Cusack, daughter of Amy Cusack and Jerry Cusack. Nancy Wong, daughter of Chen Wong and Trong Shou. Ayla Govenlock, daughter of Jennifer Schmidt Birdrow and Jim and Nicole Govenlock. Tegan Smith, son of Tabby Smith and Terry Smith. Kareem Raimi, son of Kabiru Raimi and Sharafat Raimi. Richard Huynh, son of Hong Huynh and Tu Huynh. Rosalind Michelle Ibarra, daughter of Reina Ibarra and Miguel Ibarra. Annie Vo, daughter of Ton Tran. Gigi Yang, daughter of Jianfei Yuen and Jiading Yang. Parker Savage, son of Rhonda Savage. Ty Garrison, son of Terry Garrison and Tommy Ann Barty and Crystal Garrison. Ibrahim Mian, son of Tahir Nasir and Amna Nasir. Jane Go, daughter of Jenny Wong and Damien Go. Stephanie Sewon Kim, daughter of JB and Yoon Kim. Enoch Tom, son of Andrew Tom and Phoebe O. Alex Park, son of Da Ching Piao and Jia Jun Luo. Andrew Trong, son of Lin Trong and Paul Win. Alex Wynn, son of Thomas Wynn and Lynn Wynn. Kushi Hital Damani, daughter of Hital Damani and Nasha Damani. Kai Virani, daughter of Shenaz Virani and Sajad Virani. Noah Reed, son of Robert Reed and Barbara Reed. Shritan Reddy Chandupatla, son of Naveen Reddy Chandupatla and Chopitha Boma Reddy. Bernardo Liu, son of Retuan and Amy Liu. Emin Blackburn, son of Dee Blackburn and Maria Blackburn. Pundit Vorkatolan, son of Ekasit Vorkatolan and Nisarat Vorkatolan. David Jang, son of Tao Jang and Yan Li. Ian Wallace Hardesty, son of Monica Hardesty and Norman Hardesty.